Some women will go through life echoing stories of pain, discomfort, or being in an undesirable statistic, something that could perhaps shatter hope and cripple courage. That idea doesn't hinge much on cynicism, but rather science and data. Data like 275,000 women globally dying from cervical cancer each year, or a projected increase of 25% over the next 10 years, according to the World Health Organization. Not trying to scare you, but in the same way life pens those stories, some women are pushing back to write stories of resilience, strength, and fighting back, even against cervical cancer. As we observe Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, we'll share the story of one woman fighting back against the illness. I'm Theodore Henry, and I'll take you through that and other stories inside today's Jamaica Magazine.
All children deserve positive parenting. Why not pamper us? Be patient with us. Make time to teach us and, of course, play with us. Celebrate milestones with us and don't forget to be our #1 supporter. Do all these things and practice positive parenting today.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, April 13. The Ministry of Education and Youth has launched a psychosocial program targeting grade 10 students. The program is aimed at addressing the upsurge in violence across the nation's schools. During her contribution to Tuesday's sectoral debate, Portfolio Minister Favour Williams said based on studies done, fourth form students were hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. This has resulted in the confiscation of an assortment of weapons, an increase in fights, stabbings, and even death. Minister Williams says the psychosocial program will be delivered for 2 weeks in April under the theme Embracing a Winning Well-Being.
Limited academic classes will be held in those 2 weeks. We want to focus on providing psychosocial support to our fourth form students or grade 10 students, primarily to help them through this period. We recognize that our students need some heavy-duty psychosocial support to begin to see a greater level of socio-emotional intelligence, competencies, and skills that will enable our students to manage their emotions, thus get into that state where they can resolve conflicts without violence.
The Ministry of Education will also be partnering with several agencies and ministries to tackle violence in schools. The National Parenting Support Commission will be providing individual, group, family, and grief counseling to help the community cope with stress and trauma.
Mental health training, conflict management, decision-making sessions, among others, whilst making use of art therapy, music, drawing, poetry, drama, talk therapy, among others. It is the whole person, the whole student with which we have to treat.
The partnerships will also result in restorative justice and drug intervention programs in schools. The Ministry of National Security will assist with case management at schools in the zones of special operations and provide 55 additional school resource officers in Westmoreland, St. James, Hanover, and Trelawney. The Education Ministry also plans to install 9 new walk-through metal detectors and CCTV cameras, in addition to intensifying random searches at schools.
Principals, vice principals, school administrators, and staff are asked to be on high alert for loud talking beyond what is normal, rough play, gathering of students on the outside of classes, especially during breaks and lunchtime, and we ask that they disperse these gatherings. School leaders, middle managers, and teachers have been asked to encourage students to play their part by taking personal responsibility for their safety and security, walking in groups when journeying to school, avoid walking alone at other times, avoiding shortcuts when journeying to and from school, avoid loitering in shopping centers, bus parks, and other public spaces after school, avoid exposing their cell phones and other valuables while at school or on the way to and from school, avoid being a target.
Still on education, $1.8 billion has been spent on mitigating learning loss. Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams says that amount does not include the $2.2 billion spent on educational resources and online platforms at the primary and secondary levels. The minister says the sector continues to benefit from international support through UNESCO, UNICEF, the IDB, and the World Bank. These entities have provided teacher workshops, literacy and numeracy programs, as well as digitizing resources. The Education Ministry has been able to re-engage 87,446 of the 120,000 students who were not turning up for online classes through its Yard-to-Yard initiative.
We also call on all Jamaicans. You know these children in your communities that are not attending school. Call us at 211. Our internal officers and eventually our truancy officers will visit homes to understand the issues why the children are not in school.
In other news, the effective management of macro-fiscal indicators, social safety net, and balancing the opening of the economy with the risks of the COVID-19 virus has worked for the Jamaican economy, which continues to show signs of recovery. That assessment comes from the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC. According to EPOC, while the country has not yet fully recovered to pre-pandemic levels of economic output, the pace of the recovery is encouraging. Still, the Oversight Committee is warning that this outlook faces major risk from inflation, which is eroding purchasing power, rising commodity prices, interest rates, and low COVID-19 vaccination levels.
So the recovery is fairly strong in terms of our economy, right? And so I would say we are on a good recovery path, but there are many risks that are on the horizon that the government of Jamaica and the Bank of Jamaica, who manage both the macro fiscal, need to manage through very carefully.
EPOC's chairman, Keith Duncan, was addressing the committee's quarterly press briefing on Tuesday. He says the recent discontinuation of COVID restrictions under the Disaster Risk Management Act is expected to have a positive impact on the economy's recovery. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, reported that real GDP grew by 6.7% for the October to December 2021 quarter. The Bank of Jamaica is projecting growth of 7 to 10% for the 2021-22 fiscal year and 2 to 4% for the current fiscal year. Jamaica's real GDP is expected to be back at pre-COVID levels in 2023-24. And finally, the town of Lucy in Hanover has received multiple facelifts under the Paint the City, Paint the Town project. The improvements include sprucing up green and recreational spaces, painting murals to depict parish icons and landmarks, painting of the town's seawall, and erecting a new sign at the Hanover Municipal Corporation building. Repairs were also carried out at the Hanover Transport Center, which now has a new sign and a garbage disposal area. A new sign was also mounted at the Cleveland Stanhope Market, and the facility was repainted and beautified to enhance the experience of vendors and shoppers. The town of Hopewell was also given a facelift and its market rehabilitated. Speaking at the official launch recently, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie said other programs and developments were planned for the parish.
We will continue the work to improve and to uplift rural communities right across the country. And it is not the amount that we spend. It is what we get in return. And I'm gonna say to the people in Lucy, take some pride in what is being put down in the town. It belongs to you.
Paint the City, Paint the Town is a national beautification initiative being executed over a 3-year period. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
What a way you're full of our roots and culture. That was in Jamaica 60. Jamaica 60? What a piece of news, Miss Matty. I feel like my heart going bust up.
Just in, the island of Jamaica is on the verge of celebrating its 60th year of independence.
I only we have to celebrate it now. They say the people them, you know, them come here, you know. But you see, when our people decide, say the other people them free paper, burn up. Them say if it's war, start it, whatever. We all collect medal panta for it, you know.
Medal.
Amount of tongue we give them, you know.
The celebrations are slated to begin on January 1st, 2022. Organized by the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. We have more in this report.
I am on site and planning activities are ablaze. Persons are advised to download the Reggae Jamaica app to know what it pre. Activities for the Jamaica 60 celebration.
Yeah. Download the app to get the updates then.
The Ministry of Justice is also helping to write stories of hope and a second chance. We now turn our attention to its school suspension intervention program and how it's making a big impact on the lives of the nation's future leaders.
Our journey unfolds in different ways, different paths trodden by the unique whirls and ridges of our footprints. For some, that journey will never make contact with the wrong side, while for others, conflict will become a reality, even as a child. That's where the Dispute Resolution Foundation's School Suspension Intervention Program, SSIP, comes in, making help available for both children and parents.
The Dispute Resolution Foundation provides a safe space for children where they can freely express themselves. So here they are not judged or cursed or bashed or any such thing. So that makes it easier for us to find the underlying issues that need addressing.
So the School Suspension Intervention Program emerged in 2006 as a result of the growing surge of crime and violence in the Spanish Town community to support education officers or educators and persons who work with young people. And the service we provide is a rehabilitative program for students who are at a risk of suspension, those who have been suspended. That's our main focus here in the SSIP. First of all, we have to have a referral. The referral may come from educational institutions. It may also come from, let us say, the family court or CPFSA. Once we receive that referral, we engage the student in an intake session, followed by one-on-one session, after which they will join the psycho-educational group sessions. Following that particular session, we have another one-on-one session. At this point, there are times where we see the need to invite parents and other family members or those a part of the conflict that probably led to the student being referred to us in the first place. After that second one-on-one session, we oftentimes do a post-assessment that will help us to put together our release letter. Now, at the time that we'd be putting together this release letter, of course, there may be an opportunity to refer to another external agency, for example, Child Guidance Clinic. Apart from that, however, we will engage in follow-up sessions with the students.
After 15 years of successful operation, the doors of opportunities that the program has opened to children who are at risk of suspension or those who have been suspended has certainly been something to talk about.
Students are a bit reluctant at times on their first day, especially because they never really see the need for them to be here, as the stigma attached to the program is that, bad picnic, come this side and all of that. But after they understand the program, it's explained to them and what they'll achieve here, they never want to leave at the end.
And that certainly sounds accurate, especially as it aligns with the testimonies of Nicholas Golding and Shamar Steele, now reformed thanks to the program.
My principal introduced me to the program. Well, I was introduced to the program because of some late going to school and some trouble that I was given at school. So I was placed here to get around certain edges that need to be dealt with.
I got into a fight with one of my classmates, didn't get suspended. And the principal ended up sending me on our program, learn to control my anger and how to avoid certain bad situation.
Well, it helped in a majority of ways because it helps me to counteract with others on a better level, how to deal with disputes that involve being under control and how to react to certain people and how to walk away from certain things that is unnecessary. Some of the things that they use to help me is one-on-one sitting down with me, helping me to go through certain emotional problems and how to deal with certain problems.
They teach me how to control my anger and teach me effective techniques, how to manage my anger, like walk away and take a deep breath, or just think about something different and relax my muscle, and how to resolve conflict between me and my peer or someone else. Since we've been through so much and I end up start doing movie based on the situation, I movie them, I write them on things that I learn. All of these positive changes is really because I was in the program. I would encourage other person in a similar situation to join the program because they can learn how to control their anger, avoid certain bad situation, put themselves in any trouble, and learn to resolve conflict between them and their parents or their peer or family members.
I would encourage others to be a part of the program because this program helps you in a lot of ways, emotionally, physically, all type of ways that you think that many others, you cannot talk to them about certain things, but these people give an ear to your problem.
We have some marvelous response. We have such life-changing opportunity for them. This is their second chance program. We've had moments where students, literally, we are still mommy, daddy, uncles, and aunties for many, even years after exiting the program. Imagine that. They'll still come back wanting to give their time to other students in terms of mentorship. So it's a lifelong relationship that we build with them, which I think speaks to the impact of the program on these beneficiaries.
She had her first child at 16 and the second just past the age of 19. Her life was going well until at age 26, she started to experience excruciating pain with abnormally heavy periods. She dismissed it. Maybe it's stress, a miscalculation of the period start date, until one night, the pain became too unbearable to ignore.
When I went to the doctor, she said, do a pap smear. When I did the pap smear, 3 weeks after, she called me and said, what they see, the pap smear don't come back normal. I have to go and do a colposcopy.
Her doctor advised her to see a gynecologist. At the gynecologist, a test was done and an emergency colposcopy ordered.
A colposcopy is the insertion inside of it with a camera and all the tests to see what's happening. And when they did the biopsy and everything and they come back, I was literally at a stage 3 cervical cancer. At 26 with 2 children and at a stage 3 cancer, all you hear about cancer is death.
Determined to fight, she weighed her options. Her treatment of choice was radiation and chemotherapy at the Kingston Public Hospital.
Radiation burns your body. Can you imagine you cannot have a shower for at least 3 to 4 months. You just have to pat and do everything. You cannot eat normal food because if you do, you're going to have constant diarrhea or vomiting because your system starts to change. But thank God for KPH, there were some good doctors there. Very good doctors who encouraged me, who loved me through this, as I was one of the youngest young girl at KPH at that time, going through this and doing this treatment. And I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I went through it. I prayed, thank God. He had a plan for me and I'm here today. And I am here with this team saying taking responsibility. It's not the government to take responsibility for you. I'm going to encourage parents to encourage your children to take care of them, to protect them from this act before it's too late. Some of us don't show signs. But look at me today. Thanks to KPH, thanks to the good doctors, thanks that at 26 I didn't have any money. So what would I do? Don't I would have died? And I hear people talk about the system. No. They are there to help us. I pay a little money. That's why I'm standing here today with the grace of God. Amen. Right? So go to the clinics and go with a good attitude and talk to your nurse and your doctor and you will see how it works out. So remember, take responsibility for who? You and your... Okay.
For more information on cervical cancer caused by the human papillomavirus, call 888-1-LOVE. That's 888-663-5683. You may also email hpvinfo@moh.gov.jm.
Sometimes you just need a new beginning, a clean slate to right the wrongs in your life. But for most of us, the thought of starting over fills us with so much anxiety. It's only human to be anxious about this sort of thing. With much of today's narrative having been structured around second chances and starting over, we're giving you some more tips on how you can do just that. Here are a few ways to make lifestyle changes much easier. Number 1, set realistic and achievable goals. The goals you set for yourself are essential to your overall success in changing your lifestyle. So focus on setting ones that are practical and that make sense. Number 2, create daily structured activities. Building activities into your day can help you stay on track of your goals. Instead of assuming you'll figure it out in the moment, plan activities you can look forward to throughout the day. Number 3, you've got to track your progress. This is important to sustaining success. It shows how far you've come and how close you are to your destination. Tracking your progress so you can learn from obstructions, understand common trends, and have a path to success is crucial. Number 4, change one behavior at a time. You don't have to do it all at once. Making lifestyle changes often requires patience and commitment. Your brain is learning a new skill and it needs time and focus to build those neural pathways. So changes aren't always bad. In fact, sometimes they are required. Perhaps the changes that we need to make are the ones that will help us to make our country the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Next, deaf children giving some useful tips on how you can engage them.
Some things we may say. No, thank you, goodbye, excuse me.
Hello? I'm sorry.
Wanna play? What's up? Stop. What's a Wi-Fi password?
Come. Wait. Where's the bathroom? What's your name?
Drink, water. What's the name of your school? Where's the town?
Taxi, bus park, shop.
How to get a deaf person's attention. Don't shout at me. Don't throw anything at me. That's dangerous. You can walk beside me and touch me on my shoulder lightly, or you can wave at me. If I'm in a room, you can flicker the lights.
Maintain eye contact. Ensure you're looking directly at the person you're speaking with. Try not to let your eyes wander. Also, it's best to communicate in a room that has good lighting. If it's too dark, communication will be difficult.
Please, make sure you don't have anything in your hands when you're talking to me.
If you cannot sign, you can write, draw, show a picture, or text.
Another way you can communicate with me is by using gestures. You can use your body and your hands to speak. For example, if you don't know the sign for bus, you could use this sign. If you don't know the sign for stop, you could use this gesture.
There are many ways to tell our stories, and anyone can write tales of hope, change, and chance. Today can be a clean slate. But what stories will you write? As you think about that, let's keep this conversation going on our social media pages. As today's show comes to a close, you also have the chance to rewatch this and others on our YouTube channel. From all of us here at the JIS, thanks for watching this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry, and I'll see you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.